that night on the 22nd, I could call, or we could each break them up and call different candidates. We'll break up the assignments and call them and tell them when their allotted slot of a time is to be. We'll do the interviews here, and maybe we could, obviously we'll probably have the doors closed, and we could just ask them to wait in the hall or something like that.
It would be helpful to have one person schedule those things, just simply because if one doesn't fit one slot, you need to know, you didn't know double book. But anyway, we'll sort it out.
We'll select
We'll figure it out.
a volunteer here,
Okay.
one of us, as a commission. And then, so we will know then on the 22nd if we need both days or go into the 25th for interviews. And if we don't need to go into the 25th, we'll schedule the 25th for a public hearing. Does that sound fair?
Sounds good.
And then if we, I'm sorry, go ahead, Jennifer.
Yeah, the only thing I was going to add to that is if we had enough to schedule, we could do a Google Doc where everybody and share it amongst all of us and split up who does the phone calls, and as you're typing it in, we can all see it. So just as a side point, that's something that's very easy to do for anybody that has access to a computer.
Okay, that's good to know. Mr. Bickford?
So, are we setting the time for the public hearing today, though, and that'll be pretty sacrosanct unless we get
I think,
inundated with candidates?
well, I think it would be fair to say that our public hearing would be the 25th unless we need to use it for interviews, and then we'd have to,
Is it appropriate to do that, to advertise it with a stipulation that it could be rescheduled?
If you reschedule it, then you're gonna have to re-advertise.
Okay.
so,
But the sooner you can do it, the better. So if you schedule for the 25th, and then you decide to postpone it, then you're gonna have to re-advertise and do it again.
I feel like we should schedule that now.
Okay.
And just hold to that, and if we have to,
yeah, I'd be fine with that,
if we have to try to fit in interviews before then, we will.
sure.
Do you think the 25th is realistic?
I do.
Okay.
So,
Might eat those words, but.
now,
No, that's,
do we want to stick to 6 to 8 p.m. for public hearing? 3 minutes a person, sign-up sheet. Any other ideas, thoughts, comments, concerns?
Works for me.
I think you schedule it, if you schedule it to begin at 6, I mean, you can tentatively think in your mind that it's gonna go till 8, but you don't know how many people you have. So you start it at 6, limit each
Right.
person for 3 minutes, and if it goes till 9,
Could be done at 6:30, could be here till 9.
right, you just don't wanna limit it
Yeah.
to 6 to 8, because anyone who, now if you get to the point where it's going on long, you can always, you can cut it off and come back the next day or something
Okay.
along those lines, but, so we wouldn't advertise at 6 to 8, it would just be public hearing at 6, or whatever time you guys wanted to start,
Okay.
and then
just have a sign-in sheet
have a sign.
for somebody that wants to speak.
Jennifer, you have any thoughts or comments on that?
No, I think that sounds great. I actually just put it in my calendar while we were talking, so I made sure that I had it in.
Okay, Mr. Spielman,
That's okay.
Mr. Crumpy, Mr. Barry,
Good.
Mr. Newman?
Newcomer. My only
Newcomer.
thought, that's okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. My only thought is, maybe we could each funnel into your questions right now during this week, just in
Yep.
advance, so that when we get together next Monday, we can have those, kind of at least sort of percolating.
Okay, Mr. Bickford?
Good.
So, that's the schedule as we know it, and that's the process. So right now, after we finish, we'll get, we need to get this press release out tonight. So the press has been here, but we need to get it onto one form, everything that we just said. And I wondered if we had anyone that could help type this up real quick for us, and then send the press release.
To Richard Wright, and I would copy.
Send it to Richard.
I would copy Boyd and Tony.
So the press release, we could send one press release, and I think we talked to the attorneys, but let's talk about who we're gonna send this to. We'll send this to Richard Wright at Washington County Public Schools.
Yeah, I have that, but you probably have it.
We'll copy you wanna copy the superintendent?
Yes.
Copy the superintendent. We would also send it to the Herald Mail and WHAG. Is there anyone else that we'd like to send this to?
Yeah, I mean, Richard could even, does that, he could send it out to his list, I guess.
Perfect. Well, also.
I don't know, that's, he may not want to do that on our behalf.
Keep in mind, the county is going to put it on their administration page tonight. So the county will put it on their page, the school board will put it on their page, and then we send it the press release, and the Herald Mail and WHAG has all the pertinent information, and we've met the requirements of the statute and done our due diligence as a commission, in my mind. If anybody else, Mr.
Will you proofread that
Yes,
before it's going?
yes.
Okay.
It's actually only 4:08. We still got 52 minutes probably before they go. We
I
can-
wanted to remind you that we are setting up an email site for you to interact, and I'll
thank you.
find more details about that.
So, just to reiterate, they are setting up an email, and as I understand it, please correct me if I'm wrong, we'll, hopefully, as soon as we know, on the 22nd, I'm sorry, on Friday, the 19th, next Friday at 4:30 PM, when we have the list of candidates or applicants, what we could do in the press release that we send, in addition to the name, we could include that email address for public comment on these candidates. We'll have the public hearing, but we could also include that email address. What that email address will do is they email that one address, and then it will disseminate to all 7 members of this commission. And then we could read the public comments outside of this forum. We could then discuss them, together in this forum at our next meeting. Does that sound fair?
Jerry?
Yes, ma'am.
Jerry, can I ask you a quick question, just for clarification?
Yes.
You had said that you would release the names this next Friday, correct?
Friday the 19th at 4:30 PM, yes.
However, I thought you had said that the envelopes would stay locked up until Monday.
They will. So as they are delivered to the county administration building, whether they're delivered in person or received in the mail, Ms. Lum and her office will write on the outside of the package, they'll kind of date and initial when they received it, and they're keeping a track of who the application, who they are, who the candidates are.
But they're not opening the envelope?
No, ma'am.
They
Those,
are.
all,
Well, the reason why I'm asking is because if you're
What's
making a list, what if
They're
somebody
mailed.
does not
Meet
put
them.
a return address on it? How are you gonna get the name of that person?
we should then stipulate that in the instructions when we put there. Because nobody will be opening those applications or those packages until all of us are assembled in this room together for the meeting, and we'll open them together.
Okay. Yeah, to me, that was a conflict of information. I wanted to make sure that was clarified
Okay.
regarding how we were gonna get those names if they were not in fact gonna be open.
What goes on the instructions you're going to release?
I'm a little concerned, say if someone uses a family return
Yeah.
address, am I really, without opening it, I don't know who.
Well, let me just say this too, I really think that you probably don't want to post their names publicly as candidates until they meet the criteria. And you don't know that they
That's
have
what
the
I'm-
criteria until you've said, did they fill this thing out?
Okay.
Did they fill out a cover sheet?
Yeah.
We'll know all
resume?
that by the end of Monday.
So
So then
let's
we'll do
make
it
Monday,
Monday.
let's do that.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I feel better with that.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions or concerns about that, the new? Okay, so we'll still keep the deadline, 4:30 PM, to be received at the county office, Suite 1101, 100 West Washington Street, whether in person or in mail, regardless of the postal schedule. And then on Monday afternoon, 3 PM when we meet here, we will go through the applications together, we'll open them, we'll meet with the school's attorney's office, Mr. Trotta's office. We will then have the list of candidates. We will then have a press release that night with the list of candidates that we deem are advancing, qualified. We will have then we'll schedule the interview on that Monday. We'll schedule the interviews for the 23rd, 24th. Hopefully that's it. And then hopefully on the 25th, which we're scheduling tonight, public hearing at 6 PM. Sign-up sheet in advance, limited to 3 minutes a person. And that's all we know. And in the meantime, we're coming up with a list of questions that we all have. We can email and disseminate that amongst ourselves, come up with that list of questions that we're each asking, and go from there. Is there anything I missed, or anybody else wish to add anything else?
Will the public hearing definitely be in this room,
I
or?
was gonna ask that.
Yeah, do we
Like
know
the
what
larger
Several
venue.
I don't
opportunities.
know, whether this room will be big enough.
Yeah.
I-
You might plan on a different, larger venue.
I don't know why it couldn't be in our main meeting room, I'm not sure.
I guess you can check with Rob Slogan to see if that's okay. And we do have the meeting room downstairs, which is bigger, it seats more people. That may, for a public hearing, that may be more
Appropriate.
appropriate.
Okay, so
So I guess we can check on that.
Vicki will check and let us know, and then, so tentatively, we'll just say that the public hearing will be held at 6 PM here in this building, and
This
then
building.
so we can put it out for the press release, and then we'll detail here downstairs.
That's good.
And I was just gonna say one more thing, and I think it goes without saying, when you're talking about the applications or the letters coming in,
Yes, sir.
that they should be in a sealed envelope, because they'll come in, they'll be sealed, addressed to the nominating commission, and so they will come into the address that you gave, to be checked in, and that came in on a certain date, and it'll all be put together and kept together, and then provided to this commission, so,
Yeah,
I mean, it should be in a sealed envelope, so,
perfect.
In the cover letter. you're
so that, you
saying.
should probably put that
The
in the instructions.
entire
that
application.
Should be in a sealed envelope, so,
Sealed envelope.
first,
In your letter or.
this commission will be the one that opens that seal.
Yeah. Okay. So, we'll end the meeting here in a minute, and then we'll go down, and the county staff can help us write this up, and then send this press release to the, Mr. Wright, the superintendent, Harold Mal, and WHAG, and then I'll have a CC each of us on there, or they can send it that one email, and then we could all get it. Mr. Spielman, I do have to include your,
I did get it.
oh, you got it.
I
Okay,
got it, I
perfect.
gave it to her.
Okay,
But
perfect.
you said we're gonna email each other with questions.
We can do that,
If you want to.
if you want to. Or if you just, let me know and I can email it, or whatever's easier for you.
Because I don't know everybody's emailing here.
Well, we'll get that. One thing I did want to disseminate, I want to disseminate all of our information amongst ourselves, so everybody has each other's phone numbers and emails.
That's good.
And, but, if you just email that one email that they're gonna have set up, it'll send it to all of us, so.
Okay.
It'll be easier that way, just send it to one email.
Okay.
Ms. Ashbaugh, do you have any further questions, comments, or concerns?
No, I think they've all been answered at the moment. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Bickford?
Nope.
Mr. Newcomer?
No, sir.
Mr. Berry? Mr. Crumpy?
No.
Mr. Spielman? Okay, just out of courtesy, do the two attorneys in the back have any questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, and Ms. Lum? Okay, well, with that, at 4:16, do I have a motion to call the meeting adjourned?
Second.
So moved, without objection.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for coordinating.